Hi, everyone, and welcome to Social Media for Social Impact. I'm Dr. Misha Kuze. Today, we're doing something fun. We're busting myths because social media can feel overwhelming, even discouraging, and that creates a lot of assumptions about what's possible. Assumptions like nobody is on social media anymore, or impact is only for nonprofits, or my favorite one, AI has replaced human teams. I've worked with nonprofits, startups, and established brands across industries, and I see the same myths pop up again and again. In this episode, I'll not only break them down, but I'll also show you how I've helped clients move past them and build strategies that actually drive impact. Let's jump in. Myth one: everyone's off social media. Nobody's paying attention after a detox. We all know someone who's taken a social media detox. They log off, post a goodbye story, maybe even delete the app. And suddenly it feels like the whole world must be doing the same thing. But are they really? As of July 2025, there are about 5.41 billion social media user identities worldwide, equal to about 66% of the global population. People spend an average of 2 hours and 21 minutes every day on social media platforms. So, despite the occasional detox, social media remains the largest gathering place on earth. This is the essence of the attention economy. Attention is like currency. Platforms, brands, and creators are all competing for slices of it. When one person logs off, it doesn't mean attention disappears. It just shifts somewhere else. So, an example to share: one client of mine in the nonprofit sector panicked when their Twitter or X engagement plummeted. They thought their supporters had disappeared. When I analyzed their audience, I saw they had shifted to LinkedIn and TikTok. I helped the client redirect their strategy, and within months, they saw engagement climb by 40%. The attention didn't vanish, it just moved. So, the key takeaway here is don't mistake detox for disappearance. In the attention economy, billions of people are still online every single day. The key is knowing where their attention has gone and how to meet them there. The second myth is that social impact only applies to nonprofits. This is one of the most persistent myths I encounter: the belief that social impact is something only nonprofits do. That if you're a business, your job is profit, not impact. However, research proves otherwise. A 2024 survey found that 72% of US consumers want brands to reflect their values. Another study found that 78% of consumers made at least one purchase in the past year based on whether a company aligned with their values. So let's define social impact. It's the effect your actions have on people and society, positive or negative. For me, social impact means the positive outcomes: improving health, advancing equity, protecting the planet. And that definition applies to any organization, nonprofit or for profit. So, for example, I worked with a consumer brand last year struggling to differentiate themselves in a crowded market. They had been selling on features alone. I guided them to reframe their messaging around emotional benefits, sustainability, and community partnerships. We call that the brand pyramid. The shift wasn't just cosmetic, it led to stronger customer loyalty and measurable growth. They realized that impact was their differentiator. So the takeaway is that impact is not a tax status. Whether you're a nonprofit, a startup, a global brand, or a content creator, you're shaping society. The question is, are you doing it intentionally and positively? The third myth: you need a big budget, a big brand, or a big team to make an impact. Here is another myth I hear often: we don't have the resources to make a difference. It's a fear that only the biggest brands with the biggest budgets can move the needle. But in reality, about 90% of small businesses use social media in their marketing. And studies show consumers consistently view smaller brands as more authentic or credible, a quality they value more than scale or polish. To give you an example, I worked with a mission driven startup that assumed their tiny marketing budget was a barrier. Instead of trying to compete with glossy national campaigns, I helped them double down on authentic storytelling, behind the scene content, real voices from their team and their founder, community stories. With this clarity, their engagement per dollar outperformed competitors many times their size. So, impact doesn't scale with dollars only, it scales with clarity. A clear message delivered with authenticity can beat even the biggest ad budget. The fourth myth, you need to be on every platform to matter. This myth is a recipe for burnout. The belief that if you're not everywhere, Meta, TikTok, YouTube, RedNote, Instagram, LinkedIn, you don't exist. The average user engages with about 7 platforms a month, but brands that focus on just 2 to 3 channels often see higher ROI, return on investment, than those stretched too thin. One of my clients, a sustainability company, came to me exhausted. They were trying to manage 6 different platforms, and the results were underwhelming. I advised them to focus on where their actual buyers were, LinkedIn and Instagram. Within months, their conversions doubled. By pulling back, they actually got stronger. So the key takeaway is that you don't need to be everywhere. You need to be where your people are, where your audiences are hanging out. Focus creates impact. Spreading too thin creates noise. The fifth myth, AI runs social media now. There are no humans behind the brand. Listen, I get it. With all the talk about AI, it's easy to believe social media is just bots and algorithms now. Yes, surveys show around 80% of marketing teams are now using some form of AI. But that doesn't mean teams have disappeared. AI is mostly used for support tasks, drafting, repurposing, analyzing. Humans still guide the strategy, voice, and trust building. To give you an example, I worked with a healthcare startup that had mountains of technical reports. They needed to communicate simply without overwhelming their small team. I set up a system where AI produced first drafts, but every piece was refined and approved by their communication lead. The process cut production time in half while keeping the brand's human voice intact. The conclusion here, AI is a tool, not a takeover. Used well, it frees up humans to do what only humans can do: empathy, storytelling, and building valuable and authentic relationships. So let's recap the myths we've busted today. Number one, detox isn't decline. Attention shifts, but billions are still online on social media. Two, social impact isn't just for nonprofits. Every organization shapes society. Three, big budget doesn't equal big impact. Clarity and authenticity win. Number four, you don't need every platform. Focus drives results. Number five, supports humans. It doesn't erase them. I've seen these myths stop clients in their tracks. I've also seen how reframing them can unlock real growth, loyalty, and impact. That's why I focus my work on helping organizations cut through the noise and find strategies that are both evidence based and human centered. My challenge to you, pick one of these myths today you've believed and test the opposite. The results might surprise you. Thanks for listening to Social Media for Social Impact. If this episode sparked ideas, share it with a friend or colleague and connect with me on LinkedIn. I'd love to hear which myth you're busting right now. Until next time, keep leading with curiosity and creating impact that lasts.